Alright, let's finish up Ada Lovelace's playthrough here. We have Great Britain, Modern Age. Shouldn't maybe have too long, although I do still have to do all the setup, because I didn't do that last time. I'm gonna have to have the fan on, it's beyond fucking hot in here. Tried it for about 4 minutes without it, and it instantly warmed up, so there's that. So our gold eco is still pretty good. I haven't played this save in a little while. In fact, I skipped out on playing it Friday when I should have. So that's a negative, but that's alright. But everything should be fine. Still have to assign all these resources. So put that in London. This in London. What do the foxes do? So these are rail stations. I'll put this in London. It's not letting me. Oh, it's not connected to my trade network. Okay, and then we need a factory for those. So I'm going to put these in London, and we'll worry about getting a rail station in there when the time comes. And we'll kind of hold the slots for everything else. Here, I think we're going to go with steam engine. Yeah, because this gives me rail stations, I believe. I haven't played in a little bit, so I'm kind of not too familiar exactly with everything, but that should be alright. I don't remember which gives me rail stations. Either way, that's not what I wanted to do. Either way, we're going to go with steam engine. Here, we're going to go with Pax Britannica. This is, of course, a Britain-specific civic. We get the Royal Exchange, and then +2 production to settlements for every factory. Resource assigned to them seems pretty good. We're going to go with that. Here, we're going to go with the production. And I guess just this. Seems pretty reasonable. I don't really care about city growth right now either, so just making sure that we get as much gold as we can. Do we get a point here? We have 3 scientific points. I forgot that I think I took double. So we're going to go right down to this. And I'm just going to take the plus 5% science again. So that gives us almost 200 going into this. We actually have more culture than we do science, which is kind of crazy. I feel like that doesn't really happen too often, but I mean, it definitely happens. At least for me, though, it's not very often. I'm actually kind of disappointed with the line infantry here. At least they are redcoats, but I was really, really hoping that Britain would have a unique unit being the redcoats, but I believe their unique unit is an explorer, and then, of course, a boat here. I'm kind of disappointed by that. I mean, again, it's fine, but it's just a little disappointing. I was kind of hoping that it would go the other way. I'm pretty sure the new DLC actually comes out in a couple weeks here. I'm excited to get into that, if that does come out. I mean, obviously, it's more Civ and all that, but, At the moment, I'm kind of just working away at the little XP tracks for everybody, and... Okay, so we actually got boosted up to 23, or 230, rather, which is... I mean, it's not good, but it's not bad. A bunch of free peoples, or whatever they're called in this game, show up. Awesome. Instantly, we're just going to start befriending them. There's a bunch of, we're going to go with Elective Republic. There's a bunch of, trade ones here, actually, which seems very good. Or gold ones. So we might try to influence all of them. We're getting basically 100 per turn, so it's another 5 turns. Every 6 turns we'll be able to influence one, so that's something we'll keep in mind. I'm not sure what happened or how I got this city all the way over here, but I got it. It has 2 Great Wall of Chinas, I believe, so that's cool. Let's head all the way over here real quick. I just want to see. Yeah, main Great Wall. Who had this before me? Is there a way for me to, like, look? Who founded this? It's probably not going to tell me, so I'm not going to even think about it. And then just for my sanity, because I don't remember fully, I did want to do science, so we are going to keep that little track going. Flight is a bit of ways away, so we're just going to go with academics. Ada Lovelace's one special should be pretty decent here, or her specific ability, whatever they're called. That should be alright towards this age. I don't really see myself worrying about the +2 science per age when you complete a civic, and then culture equal to 50% of the science when you research a tech mastery. I don't foresee that being too insane because ideally I just kind of want to rush the paths that are important. So civic masteries might be my way to do that. But for now, we're kind of just chilling. Oh, I just realized this turned into Washington, D.C. Tokyo. Oh yeah, let me go through the fucking civs that everybody picked. So we have, of course, myself, Ada Lovelace as Britain, and then we have Tecumseh as Quinn. Napoleon picked Mexican. Frederic is Siamese. Ashoka went Mughal. Augustus is Prussian. Himiko, of course, went Japan, and Franklin, of course, went America. So because I kind of want, actually no, we'll just support that. I could have just gone with the generic option there, and then I'm gonna take Steam Engine here just for that little boost that we were just talking about. I could have gone with the middle option there, and then befriended another state, but I'd rather have the happiness boost. I mean, happiness wise, we're looking all right, except for up here. I take that back. We have a very unhappy like little set of cities right in here. Actually, I think a lot of these are towns, but you see, these guys are at -13. Oof. I don't think this one's been upgraded yet, so let's just do that real quick. Can get a 5 happiness tile coming in here. Turn this one into a city. Get a 5 happiness tile over here. Okay, like becoming a city instantly made those guys happy, so we take that. This one's not happy. So next turn, I shouldn't have passed, but next turn we're just going to buy out a bunch of these towns and make them cities. So there's another one. Carthage, I believe, has to become one, as well as the one up there. Can also start influencing another free people. We're going to go with, what is that? Stone Town. Zanzibari. Sweet. This one can turn into one. Excellent. This one looks like it can. Excellent. This one looks like it can. Excellent. Okay. So now we can work on our other tiles. I'm gonna go Ironworks first, and then we'll worry about the happiness after that. We're gonna wait to place those until we get some more slots. This is a 12 happiness city park that I'm gonna slam down wherever it goes. Okay, apparently not. Oh yeah, it is 12 happiness right up there. That's still kind of rough because it's, you know, a large percentage of, and we're still at -5, but it doesn't change the fact that that was still pretty big, all things considered. A 313 production is really good. This is another really good. This is a 311-1, which is just really good. 3-8. I'm pretty sure Britain gets production bonuses too. Like they cost less to make their production buildings or something. I'm gonna read it here in a second before I pass. Gotta put all these. I passed and didn't read it. All right, cool. Here we go. Plus 25% gold towards purchasing buildings and plus 25% production towards constructing buildings. It costs 50% more to convert towns to cities, so that's just it. So it's just plus 25% production towards constructing buildings full stop, which is actually very strong. Okay, so these guys are a bit happy. We just started converting that place down there. Let's grab this. So the fact that we get that huge production boost, and I say huge because overall, like, it's going to balance out as being really big, because, you know, the fact that we're taking whatever it may be, a half, or not half, but a quarter less production to build some of these production buildings, and then, you know, we're putting that into an overall sum of production. We'll just have, you know, a huge supply of that. So we got our little civic boost, or rather culture boost from that. I'm going to pick up this happiness tile, and then I'm going to make this a city. I wasn't going to, but I don't really see a reason not to. So we've got to get to flight, so urbanization is going to be pretty good, but we do have to go military science and combustion as well. Along the way, at least. Pax Britannica 2, Manufactory, as well as a power station and some other stuff. So we are actually going to go with that. Here, I'm going to go... We have more science, so we're going to go with science. Go with the purchasing buildings on the coast. And then, I don't recall if I've done this in a playthrough that I've, streamed and uploaded or not. But there was a playthrough that I played where basically I had a city kind of like this one that was just way out of the way. Nowhere near everything else, just kind of doing its own thing. And I kept it specifically as like a just a resource hub of, making sure that the happiness was fine, whatever, but completely pumping, a bunch of stuff out of it. So eventually getting it to like, producing 40 gold a turn or something, and then it's just worth so much to the Empire that you're playing as, just because it's basically an out of the way, doing its own thing type of hub for you. So here I think I'm gonna buy a port, and then we're gonna start building the schoolhouse. Right there. Again, oh, I should have placed some stuff actually. That was kind of a mistake on my part. I didn't realize that some spots opened up in London. I mean, we don't have a rail station in London just yet, so it's not like it matters too much, but, I still should have put that there. So, Napoleon's still on good terms with me. Everybody else is kind of upset with me. If I remember correctly, we fought quite a few wars throughout the course of this game. I mean, it's just what happens. Also, we're role-playing as England, so I mean, come on. Obviously, we're going to be fighting. Okay. I'm going to take the 6 production tile there. That seems very good. Some 3-8 production buildings here. Carthage has been unhappy, I think, basically since the age turnover in the First Age. I don't really know what I am supposed to do to not have them be so upsetty spaghetti. They have just not wanted to remain happy. It's going to be a really big happiness tile. So I really want to just, like, put down some of these other buildings, but, like, I don't want it to fall deep into, like, a negative happiness. Like, at the moment, it's -5, I think, or minus 8 now, which is bad, but it's just, like, as long as it doesn't get worse than that, or drastically worse than that, I can see it being alright. So, I'm not going to be too concerned with that. Let's start befriending these guys. I'm going to head over here and see if Napoleon will do... oh, we're already in a local festival. Okay, so he will obviously not do a second one. So here I think we go rare metals first, and then we're going to go with the other thing on the other one, the gold per city-state that we have seized, because right now, obviously, if we can get a huge sum of gold, we'll be at the position we were not too long ago, where we just buy out everything we want. Didn't find the Bermuda Triangle. I'm not sure if that's actually in this game or where that is, but... or rather on our map that we have here, but we did not find the Bermuda Triangle. Excuse me, kind of sad, but it is what it is, I suppose. I'm not sure if the civic we're researching either is a mastery civic to get the boost that we want. It probably is, but, pick up another really big happiness production tile. We have 1 million fishing boats to repair over there in Utica. London, we're obviously going to put down the Royal Exchange. We were just talking about why money is kind of big right now. This place is also extremely unhappy. They're much worse off, actually, than Carthage. I did not realize Utica was not upgraded yet. Pop down an ironworks. Can we send this over to... So I want to send this to Carthage rather than the other place that's unhappy, because Carthage might flip to being positive before the other place would from that. And eventually, like, it'll get a rail station and... the happiness will go up. It does not appear that I got a boost from that one. Alright, then we have Society of Antiquaries? I don't think that's Antiquities, so... Cities with both great work and resource, let's see, +4 culture and science, +1 movement to civilians. I mean, it's nothing insane, but it's a special civ or a unique civ, so we're going to go with that. So what right now is like the worst case? I get war declared on me from like 6 people and get gang banged. That would be very bad, but I don't see that happening, so all things considered, we're kind of in good shape. There's our urbanization finishing up here. Let's go buy out another people. Himiko is befriending them, but we will likely beat her to that. Pick up a 5 production tile, seems pretty good. Back to what we were just talking about, we're going to go for that, because it's a boost. It'll be a boost at least to our culture, and it's kind of something we want. This is an 11 production tile. 7. So I think what we're going to do here is we're going to go with manufactory, and then I'm going to buy... Okay, never mind, I can't buy it. I was saying I'm going to buy the other buildings, but that's fine for now. Right now our gold is actually not as good of an income, or rather our gold income is not as good as I would kind of hope for this position. Again, as I've talked about before, I really like gold in most of the Civ games that I've played. I really like the ability to just buy out things when you're able to. This game, I think it's a bit more, prevalent or important than it was in Civ 6. Just because you can quite literally buy everything in this game. That's not what I want. You can quite literally buy everything in this game, so, you know, having a decent chunk of gold to be able to just blow on whatever it may be, whatever building you want, or so forth, is pretty big in my opinion. We're going to need 1712, so that's like next turn. We can buy a department store there. So that is something that I really like about gold specifically in this game, is, again, just being able to be like, all right, here we have, you know, we want both the department store and city park. Why don't we buy out a sawmill, then worry about the other things? Like, stuff like that is just really good, and the way that it goes in this game sometimes is really good. And being able to purchase out stuff like that is really good. So, to me, gold is really important. It's not the highest priority eco for me. I obviously value production much more than gold, but gold is probably the second for me. This place is actually not doing too well, like, in terms of anything. Our happiness is low, and then our gold is actually minus. Kind of crazy, but that is a position we're in. So we're just going to buy out a department store. I know I said I'd do it down the other place, but this is probably just better. I guess we overbuild just to be safe there. And then we're going to put down a manufactory. Oh, this is some more happiness too, actually. So we kind of just, like, snowballed into a decent amount there, which is good. Alright. And yeah, I mean, everything kind of is looking alright. We have 2 cities that aren't the best shape in terms of happiness. Another value that I don't, or rather another resource, or whatever you call it, income, or whatever it would be called, that I don't value too high, which is happiness. I mean, celebrations are, of course, very strong. This time we're going to go with culture, because it's our lowest. But I don't value it too much, simply because, like, it really at its core is only best for maintenance. Oh, you know, you have your situations where it, like, definitely helps you in terms of getting celebrations, which are obviously very strong. But at the same time, like, I'm not crazy about caring about getting to celebrations. I'd much rather have, like, a higher eco. Carthage getting a +13 happiness building is going to be very big. That I think will yet again make it be happy by like 1 or something. So that's cool. But anyway. But yeah, for me, like, having happiness it's a good resource, but I'd much rather worry about making sure production is coming along, and then gold, and then after that, anything I need, you know, you can just buy out or whatever it may be. Can we start? We cannot start, like, the thingy with this guy. What about you? We cannot start one with him either. Okay. I want to do a local festival just to make sure everything that's down stays up here. We're going to buy out... I'd rather take the production tile, as I just talked about, but because we're negative with happiness there, I'm going to take that tile instead. This is just going to be a... I'm going to go for the 6 production tile, actually. That one seems fine. Now we take the gold, or the gold boost or whatever. Military science, because it's cheaper. Excellent. Here we're going to pick up just this big tile up here. Plus it's a spice, I'm pretty sure. Not that it really matters, but I mean, it's something. So here we're going to go manufactory. It's, again, a giant production tile, and then we're going to do one of the happiness buildings, just to make sure that happiness doesn't fall down in Utica. And then I think I'm going to buy the repairs over here in London. I mean, I'd rather not. It's kind of just a waste of money, but because it'll happen in time, but I'd rather just get it out of the way now. So, you know. I believe there's like one more. Okay, no, that was it. It was just two. So here we're going to pick up the manufactory. That's a really big manufactory. It's a 512. I like the fact that they get gold boosts on their production buildings. It's like the reverse of America, which gets science. Is that something that just naturally happens, or is that a specific thing with the buildings? Plus gold to plus 1 gold for navigable rivers. Okay, that makes sense. I mean, yeah, like I said, that just seems really, really good. We'll pick up the +6 happiness tile here now, like we were talking about. This guy can go back to sleep. This guy can go back to sleep. Do you think Napoleon will ally with me now? Probably not, if I had to guess. Game's getting a little bit laggy. I don't really like that, but that's okay. Bro. Napoleon is blue. Where is his military presence? It's this city right here, right? I mean, I don't think he's going to end up attacking it, so I'm not too worried, but, I mean, that's something to, I guess, keep in the back of my mind. Here, we're going to go combustion, so we can buy land ships if we need to. Of course, as we talked about, we're going to pick up the 3-3, well, rather the production tile, but it's a 3-3. Cheap one at that. Let's look at yields. Actually, I'll wait till the turn turns over. I mean, we're only at turn... I'll wait till turn 30, rather. We're only at turn 30, but I feel like our yields are actually looking kind of decent. London's happiness is actually kind of plummeted. So we're going to go that. Up here, we're going to go military academy. We want that... I think overbuilding is going to be fine here. I mean, it is probably not necessary, but I think it's fine. So... the debate is, like, we could just take the food production tile, or we could go, like, production, science, and culture. I think that's better overall. I mean, it's going to drop our happiness, which is kind of like... That's where the debate is, because right now managing happiness has kind of been rough for a lot of these cities up here, but you know how it be. A dust storm. So there's our civic done. We have 2 more. Splendid isolation. At the start of the turn, if you have positive or 0 gold per turn, units receive +3 combat strength, plus 5% gold in towns, but minus 5% in the capital for every alliance. Plus 1 settlement limit. So we actually have no alliances right now, so I'm pretty sure we won't get a minus on that. East India, or chartered companies, East India Company, plus 3 gold on each building in town. In towns, plus 1 resource capacity and settlements with a port. So this seems really good. The problem is we don't have any towns. I'm pretty sure we only have cities, so that actually kind of does nothing, so we'll go Splendid Isolation there. Military Academy over here. This is looking like another military academy. Plus 9 this time, though. So the options here are I can build like one of these things, like obviously I can build a manufactory for a plus 11. The problem is we're getting -4 happiness, and I just don't think that's worth it when our overall happiness on the city is 1.5. So like it's just going to put us in the negative, and it's not really worth it overall. We don't have any factories. I can't assign the elephants either, so we're just going to chill. So we're at 1,000 influence, so I probably should have already started influencing one of these civs. I'm not sure if these guys have been influenced yet over here. Let's take a gander real quick. They have not. We should be getting that. And then let's influence these guys up here. Another thing about having all these city-states, or free peoples, whatever they're called, on our side, is that if we ever get attacked, they'll hopefully do a bit of, like, management of that for us before we have to worry about dealing with everything. Like, it'll give us time to, you know, move our units to wherever the conflict is happening at. Obviously, the ones up top there are not the best positioned ones. The ones up here are not the most opportune positions for that. But like these guys between Rome and us is obviously very good, and you know these guys between or near rather uh, Ashoka and I don't even know who Frederic is. I thought he was French actually, but he might be like Roman or not Roman, Russian. But like those guys being there is obviously really big for us. Another happiness tile there in Carthage. We'll go with the plus 5% gold. I mean, that's obviously a huge boost for us. So we're going to buy the city park, and then we're going to build the department store. Alright, let's go up here. Here, I think we want to go military academy, and then just see how things go from there. Carthage is steadily getting down to an actual happy spot. I like this. We'll go with Red Fort first. It's a happiness tile too, so I mean that's something. This is unlucky. I am being forced, I believe, to put a specialist down, which means we are going to go a little bit deeper in happiness. That's unlucky. Let's go with that one, I suppose. We just picked up some horsies as well. Looks like this river just blew up. That's also pretty unlucky. Why is Ben fucking around over here? What's going on? Oh yeah, I should have checked our values too. I'll check that right here in this turnover. To be honest, we're not producing as much science or culture as I would like. In fact, I expect us to be behind in both. So, America, or rather not America, just overall, we're behind about 600 in gold. That's pretty bad. Science, we're ahead about 100. Culture, we're behind like 300. Happiness, we're behind about 200. Influence, we're up by about 30, 40. And we have, you know, a decent amount of cities. But I just want to point out to anybody who's been following, like, this specific playthrough, God bless your heart, but either way, I just want to point out that there was a point, I believe, where Augustus had, like, 2 cities. And obviously, if we look at the map over here, we can see that he has settled, all of these islands and probably a bit down here, too. So while it makes sense, him going from like 2 to 15 is just insane. But, you know, just wanted to point that out. But yeah, so right now, while we're technically ahead in science, we're way behind in culture. Nowhere near what I would like. Although it does say 231 in the top, but this only says 192. I mean, either way, it's still behind, but it's like, if we're up 231 rather than 192, we're in second place or third place in terms of our culture output. But if we're at 192, we're behind in fourth. So I mean, it's not like it matters. But either way, it's just something to note. So somebody had a spy somewhere. Ashoka, of course. London, we're gonna go with our military academy there. Up here, we're just gonna go with the city park. That kind of gives us some open room to do stuff later on. So we have a happiness tile with these horses. Those are going to go to Utica. I think I could have assigned the elephants too, but it's okay. Alright, so that's combustion being done. Here, I think I want to just go with shore battery. I mean, it's not like it really matters overall, so it's fine. I'm going to take the free line infantry. So there is flight coming in now, 8 turns until we pick that up. That's going to be huge for us, obviously, as we get to progress a little bit further on our win condition. I should technically be leading, if I'm not mistaken, in terms of science, at least, as a win condition. I might be wrong, but I should be. So that's somewhat decent. This volcano just keeps blowing. Excellent. Just going to buy that, I think. And then we'll put down the department store up here. So let's repair the guild hall and the other thingy that we have to repair. And then after that, we'll worry about dealing with happiness and all that in that tile. Let's pick up this shore battery. Still no factories, so I'm not even going to attempt to assign those where, you know, I'd like them to go until we get factories going. I'm pretty sure you can't, and that's why I'm just not going to bother. I spent like 15 minutes trying that the one time, and it literally did nothing, so. Another espionage. Hamiko. Bro, why do they always hate me, man? Everybody fucking hates me. I've done nothing wrong, and they all hate me. This is like Prestige Master Copium. I probably, like, wiped out, like, 3 cities or something from them, and I just don't remember. It's not the real me. I didn't mean to do it. So I can't repair that just yet. So I think we just go... I mean, this is actually kind of tough. Oh, we'll just go the shore battery, actually. Because that's not going to take away from our happiness there. So yeah, I can't assign anything yet. We don't have any factories to deal with that. Or to do that, rather. So I'm probably going to want to put the airport in London, based on how things are shaping up here. This place is very unhappy. I am going to overbuild, I think, on that. I really don't want to, but I actually think I just kind of have to. These guys are at minus 14. Like, they're just so not where it's at right now. So, before we do anything else, I want to see if I can do... I still can't do a thingy with him. Okay, never mind. So they're one step closer, they're one step closer. Excellent. I think we're just going to take this tile. Seems pretty decent. Do I have enough influence to start taking over these guys? Incorporate. Yeah, we're going to do that. So we have a pretty big... we're going to take the culture boost here. That, I think, is just the best bet, so we're going to go with that. I'm going to go grocer just because it's not going to take away from any, like, tiles that we have, so it's not a big deal here. In terms of, like, getting that down, the same reason that I'm going to put down a shore battery. So we're going to start incorporating these guys. We'll take them, and then we'll probably take the one over there. I mean, we have 5 slots, really, to pick up cities. It's probably not a terrible idea to, like, leave a couple spots open, because I suspect that I'm probably going to have to fight eventually here, and that might end with me getting a city or 2, or maybe losing some, but either way, I'm probably going to want to keep that as an opportunity, or a spot for me to have that opportunity, because, you know, you never know. I'll overbuild, whatever. Pick that gold tile up, still no factories. These guys can go to sleep. Our culture actually got boosted, by the way. This was going to finish a turn after flight, and it finished before, so that's cool. We're going to go economic. We're going to take, I guess, just the food tile. So here we're going to go chartered companies, even though it, I don't think, does actually anything. Like, full stop, I don't think it does anything. That's fine. But we're going to take it because it's unique and it's cool. Or rather, it's new, so, you know. I'm not going to do that with every first playthrough that I do. But what I am going to do, like, for each civ, but I will do it for new civs when they come out. Kind of like Ada Lovelace here in Britain and all that. What I'm getting at is that, like, when I do my playthrough for Hamiko, right, I'm not going to do that and go out of my way to pick up civics and techs or whatever that I know aren't good for me, but because it's the first time that I'm playing Britain, like, full stop, and, I mean, obviously it's been 2 weeks or whatever since they came out, but because they're somewhat new in that regard, and the whole game is somewhat new, but you get my point. So, like, when Grand Colombia comes out, or Simon Bolivar, and I believe it's Bulgaria, and I forget the other civ, when those come out, I'll do the same thing, right? I'll prio getting, I'm going to take that artifact. I'm going to prio getting those over anything else, because they're going to be new and all that, but outside of that, you know. Yeah, we're not going to, what's the word for it? We're not going to probably do civ again until the new update comes out, Not for any reason other than just, I'd rather wait. Here we're just going to not overbuild, and we're just going to take the 8. For no reason other than I'd rather just wait to do it for the new one to come out. It's not like an insanely... I don't understand why there's still an unrest. Like, what's going on there? I don't really understand. But, so yeah, I'd rather just wait for the new one to come out before I worry about anything more. At the moment, I'm probably... I mean, it depends on how quick the release of these DLCs comes out, but if I'm not mistaken, the DLC comes out a week from now. And if that's the case, then, obviously, the best case scenario for me would be, like, I could start a playthrough Friday for, like, somebody, and then maybe throughout the weekend do it, but overall, I don't foresee. Of course, we unfortunately have to pick up a tile here, which is going to drop our happiness. I'm going to take the one that's going to be not so bad in that regard. But yeah, like, the options there just to me are, there's no way that I look at it that it's a benefit. Even if I had started this playthrough, or rather did this last episode when I intended to, which was Friday, I don't know how good that would be either. Because, again, I believe the DLC comes out like the 23rd or something. I mean, I guess I could look it up real quick and say, but, like, I just don't foresee it being the best case scenario. Or rather, I don't foresee it being the best case scenario, which is that, it's going to be like another week and I'm able to do the full playthrough before, maybe do an extra upload or something of the playthrough beforehand, because it's just not, I don't think it's just going to happen, right? I'm not going to beat the time that I realistically would like to get these out relatively on time. I believe it's this video. Do I have to mute it? I got a Verizon ad. Skip. So this is the update, Crossroads of the World collection, Civ 7, this is it right here. So March 4th was Ada Lovelace, and then March 25th is Mount Everest. Scouting, settlement improvements, some other stuff. It doesn't say map generation improvements more. It doesn't say Crossroads of the Worlds 2 here. But at the same time, it didn't say that on the March 4th update either. So, DLC Part 2, is this it right here? Update 1.1.1 will include the second half of Crossroads of the Worlds. Includes Simon Bolivar, Bulgaria, and Nepal. Bulgaria is an exploration, and Nepal's a modern. So that's cool. Does this tell me which one is which right here real quick? Because if 1.1.1 is... March 25th is 1.1.1. So that will include Simon Bolivar and all that. So that is roughly 8 days away. So this comes out today. I'm recording this Monday, the 17th. So this comes out the 17th. Even if... I mean, I could do a playthrough throughout the week, I guess. But, like, that's really heavy on just me playing this game. Not that I don't like this game, but I've got a lot going on. And, I'm going to be working and all that. So, like... we'll see exactly where things turn out. I'm going to go with the artifact here. We're going to see how things turn out in that regard. I don't think it'll be bad, so maybe I'll try to do something of that ilk, but, I also am kind of behind on clips. Obviously, I like to post clips every day throughout the weekday while I don't have videos to upload, or these stream highlights, or whatever you want to call them, these long-length videos. Obviously, I would like to edit these videos and put things in and whatnot, but it's kind of just not possible in my current... Oh, there's Red Fort finally being done. It's not possible in my current situation, at least, so for now, we kind of have to just deal with these unedited VODs. I mean, I could do, like, an edited form of VODs, but it would kind of be, like, just a highlight point of them. It would be, like, 10 minutes long, probably, no... just fluff of me yapping about whatever. It would be straight to things that are impactful happening, like, whatever it may be. Kind of like the Abraham Lincoln playthrough I did, but in my opinion it would be just a lot weaker than that, because much like the Abraham Lincoln playthrough, it would kind of just be, null and void, just happenings rather. And until I'm able to edit and actually include things or whatever it may be, I don't really want to do that type of content. I mean, I think all around the type of content that I produce in this regard is not the best. I'm definitely not insanely proud of it. In fact, I think the only video, like actual long form video that I've done that I like is the DBD one. That video is I think it's a masterpiece of what I could do and what I could produce given the circumstance that I have when it comes to what I can edit. I think the video was beautiful. Outside of that, though, we're gonna take another artifact there. Outside of that, not insane, right? But anyway, yeah. So, like, that's the best case scenario is that I could just do a playthrough on somebody, like, whatever it may be, and try to blitz through it in the next couple days here, and maybe that's what I'll end up doing. Getting a lot of artifacts here. So maybe that's what I'll end up doing, but I could pivot to a culture win condition, but I think science is still the best, just given our output of it. Let's take a gander real quick at how we're looking in terms of culture. So we need 15 artifacts, and we have one on display, but we have, like, I think probably... We have another 3. So we have a total of 4. So, I mean, yeah, we're not really insane in terms of our artifact count. If we had a little bit more than that, I might consider that pivot, but at the moment, I just don't see it happening. But yeah. So anyway, we'll see how it goes, how I feel. Again, the 25th is Tuesday. So, at the moment, what if I do Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or maybe Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday? Or sorry, Tuesday... I could go Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, do Civ, and then clips in between, like when I'm able to. And then clip on the 24th, 25th do Civ the day the DLC comes out. And then 26th, 27th do clips, and then 28th do Civ. And then that'll leave me with the 31st, the last month of the day, being the final episode for Someone Bolivar's playthrough. Or it might be quicker than that if I get eliminated. Obviously, I've been upping the difficulty when I go through. This is on, I believe, like medium, total medium. Whereas the first playthrough I did overall was very easy. I mean, I just like to kind of ease myself in, admittedly. I don't want it. Why is this place still in unrest? I cannot... Okay, there we go. I fixed it. I do not like just jumping right into deity. I'm not one of those players, admittedly. That's not where a bit of my joy in Civ comes from. I kind of just like the Empire. I mean, to be honest with you, I really like playing Civ. If it hasn't been obvious throughout the course of, like, my playthroughs that I've done. Maybe not so much. Well, I mean, I guess the only one that I've really recorded and uploaded would be the Machiavellian in this one. But I really prefer Civ as just a straight-up Empire builder. It is my bread and butter, what I love about the game. Everything else after that is kind of just like, it exists from a perspective of being there and, hey, you know, it's something you can do. But to me, I love the idea of just being like, look at this giant sum of territory that we've acquired. And I kind of like a bit of the role-playing aspect of it, too, of being, oh, Stone Town just got picked up. Very cool. I like a bit of the role-playing aspect of it, too, being like, all right, we're Carthage, we're going to spread around everywhere, and then after Carthage, I don't even remember what I turned into after Carthage, which probably sounds terrible, but I actually don't remember it. It was like Quing or something, I think, because somebody fucking fucked it up. Whatever it was, there was a beautiful outline of what I wanted to do, and I remember somebody fucked it up for this playthrough, just like they did with Machiavelli, but my point is that I really like it from that perspective, you know, and being able to do it that way, and Civ from a completely, like, competitive, let's jump into deity and get gangbanged by the AI 20 games in a row until I finally figure out how it works and a strategy that works, like, that's just not really the way I like doing it. Actually, I guess I could just respond because I think you're in the stream. Yes, unknown. The stream is in sub only, sub and emote only specifically, just because I'm trying to get footage for a video that I'm doing for this, and what I found is that it's much more difficult, and there's a couple people that come in here that kind of draw the topic away from, like, what's going on, whether it be with the game or whatever. Like, you're not one of them, admittedly, but there's a couple people who kind of just, like, spam the chat with random things, and I felt that either my options are just ignore it and don't acknowledge it when I'm trying to, like, get footage and record, or You know what I mean? Like, just have that in and be completely off topic randomly, like, midway through a video. You know what I mean? So, yeah, so it is supposed to be in sub only and emote only. I'll probably be doing a stream tomorrow where it won't be that if you want to hang out and, all of that. I know usually you try to make it when you can, and obviously you can make it now, but yeah. So for right now and for the rest of this stream, probably it'll be non-interacting, sub and emote only and all that. Yeah, no worries, dude. I appreciate the heads up. Yeah. I don't think I usually do sub only, so yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. I appreciate it, man. Refreshing. Alrighty, let's get back into the gameplay here. We're gonna go with the Shore Battery. Again, it's free in the sense that it's not gonna cost us any happiness. And we would just want to get that down now. It's also a good production tile. Let's go defensive fortifications. And then let's go grocer here, I think is probably the best option. So right now, we're working on our transoceanic flight. That'll be done in, what, 4 turns probably? So right around the time both of our techs and civics are done. The thing that sucks is that we kind of have to... This is the wrong one. We have to rush aerodynamics here, which basically means we have to get the rest of the tree. Not terrible, but, we're looking at 7, probably 10, so 27, then maybe another 15, so 30, so that would be 57, and then we'll just say another 15 for simplicity's sake. So we're looking at, like, probably 100 turns until we get aerodynamics. Best case scenario. And then we have to pick up rocketry too, which we'll just say is another 20. So, and then we have to do all the projects in between, which is obviously, if we're going along the way, that's not bad. But we have to do the last project, which is kind of a pain in the ass. So I would say overall, we probably have like another 150 turns at the rate we're going, which is bad, until we get a science win. It's not like it looks really any better, I don't think, in terms of culture. The civics obviously don't matter here. It's just about the artifacts. But even then, like, we're so far behind in what we should be researching towards. We have to get hegemony, or not hegemony, we have to get natural history, then hegemony. And it's just like, natural history is 10 turns, hegemony is all the way down there, and we're looking at probably 30, 40 turns until we would get that. So I think just staying the course with science, I mean, we haven't, like, made our bed completely yet, in the sense that, like, we could probably pivot within the next 20 turns here, but... At the moment, I think that this is the best way to go about it, is just continue along the course we're going and hope this goes well. That city is just completely unhappy, and I'm not sure how I'm going to fix it. In fact, I don't think I can, so I'm just not even going to think about it. Carthage is one that realistically could be fixed, so I'm not going to go overboard with the building into the negative. These guys, I can't do cultural, or not cultural, festivals. Why does this guy hate me? I can't do festivals with anybody, and it makes me kind of sad. See, like, no festival. No festival. Will you reconcile with me? Okay, you actually agreed. Like, I can do cultural exchanges and all that, but, like, none of this is exactly where I'd like to be at, which is I'd like to do a festival. Right, let's see if I can reconcile with Hamiko. Never mind, I forgot you can only do 1 per overall. I can actually apply this, what's it called? This elephant. I wanted to call it a camel. We're going to send the elephant to Carthage for the exact reason we did with the fox, which is that Carthage is closer to being positive than Gao is if we do that. In fact, that city probably will just remain unhappy and do whatever it's going to do throughout the rest of the course of the game. I mean, it sucks, but, like, that's just admittedly what it's going to be. So I'm not going to think about it too much. Again, it sucks, but you know what I mean? That's just how it is. Before we do anything else, let's try to grab this city here. I would like to incorporate the Samoans. That's a little bit of alternate history, as I believe they joined America. Again, we're going to have to take a specialist and go negative again on happiness. I mean, it sucks, but that's just where it is. So now the reason we're going for all these science buildings here is that, like I was talking about, overall, I kind of have to be conscious about speeding along this process of... I don't want to hit 0 happiness there. I need to be conscious of speeding along this process of getting to the science victory. Again, we're looking at probably 150 turns maybe until we're there. And like, if that's how long it's going to take me to win, any of these other civs who very well could be better positioned could just win over me there, which would be, obviously not ideal. So we need to like try to move along and progress quicker there. I don't even think that was stick drift. I think I just didn't take my hand off the controller. What was I gonna say? But yeah, like that's where we're at right now. Mount Fuji. It's always the fucking look at the very good untextured tile there on the left, by the way. That looks so pretty that the land is just fucking disgusting. What was I gonna say? But yeah, right now that's my plan in terms of doing Civ stuff. I very well might like work on getting out a couple more episodes, maybe another playthrough again, before Simon Bolivar and Gran Colombia comes out. But right now, that's not like 100% on the agenda. And as I just mentioned, I do want to do other content on, my streams and all that. I mean, I don't stream too much anymore, of course, but I do want to do some other stuff in that regard. I've been playing a bit of Smite on stream, Smite Ranked. That's been going debatably well. Debatably well. I usually get fucking folded, but, there's been a couple games where that's been smooth. Finished both of our things. Where is Transoceanic Flight? How is that coming along? 3 turns there. Okay. So let's pick up Stone Town into a city instead of a town. I know it kind of defeats the purpose. Pick up. I guess we just go... I mean, their happiness is fine, so honestly, I think the 3-2 is probably better. Usually here, I would go for the 4-3, the food happiness, but like the gold production is probably just better. I like that I just see Napoleon's army just like about to flood me, probably. Very cool. Everybody fucking dick rides me in this game. Also, I'm pretty sure this is a new resource. I don't recall, is this rubber being a thing that was in the game before? It probably was, and I'm just stupid, but... So now we have two different options here, right? We can get the mastery on... I already forgot which one. I believe it was industrialization. Or we can pick up, like, mass production, and again... This ties into what I was just saying about how many turns it's going to take to actually get there, right? We're at 6 and 6, so 12 for electricity and mass production. Radio is probably going to be about 6 to 7, so it's 18 turns alone. Admittedly, that looks better than what I initially said or projected, because mass production is obviously cheaper than what I originally anticipated, which I think I put it at 10 or 15. So that's not terrible, but is getting the mastery on industrialization worth not progressing our win condition? And the answer, I think, is just no. I think we just actually try to progress our win condition. Which one of these has masteries that we can do? So natural history has a mastery, the others don't. So we're going to do that because we want to get the science boost from our ability. Obviously, it's not a... Obviously, it's not something that's going to be, like, insanely impactful in terms of researching our stuff quicker, but it's still something that we need to be conscious of and, aware of trying to do. We're going to overbuild there. We're going to pick up this rubber tile. Okay, so it's a fairly decent tile in the sense that we get +1 combat off of it. The problem is that I'm pretty sure, already have rubber, like, right here, so it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. It's one of those resources that doesn't give multiple boosts. So that kind of sucks, but it's alright. We're going to overbuild there. I think we're fine just taking the food tile. It really doesn't matter at the end of the day in that position, I don't think. We're just going to keep building defensive fortifications. As I talked about, I don't want to go overboard on the negative there. And I mean, we're definitely kind of already overboard in terms of the fact that we're at like -8. I just hit a menu or something that I didn't want to do. We're overboard in terms of the negative there, so, I mean, we're already kind of fucked in that regard, but, it's going to be what it's going to be. We're going to incorporate... I'm not going to try to pronounce their name. So that's alright. We're going to take the... Actually, I'm going to take the science boost. So that is like a... Okay, so there's 2 different options we have here, right? +3 gold on each building in towns, or the +5% gold in towns. And we're going to go with East India Company, and then we're going to not upgrade the the city states that we get, and we're just going to leave them as towns and buy out buildings in them. And I just recalled looking at it here, it was Songhai, I believe, that we did as our second thingy, because these are Songhai civics or government policies. Very cool that those actually progress throughout the ages and they don't just go away. I really didn't think I was going to like the way that the age transitions were going to work in this game with the civs disappearing, but I've really come to enjoy it, and I think that they did it very well in this game. Just pick up these tiles here. Utica went from being like teetering the edge to actually very happy. I'm very happy about that. It makes me smile greatly. Let's pick up the 7 here. I don't really care to overbuild. I just don't see that being a situation that matters. Again, we're not going to put that in negative, so we're just going to keep going with defensive. Same with this place. We're just going to go defensive. I could assign some foxes and all that, but I'm not going to worry about that. Excuse me. In fact, I'm actually going to more worry about assigning resources once the factory gets unlocked. So, we can actually try to do some stuff that way. It's looking like 252 is our best here. We could go the 7-1, but I'd rather just take the production. Up here, we kind of have some happiness to play with, but we're going to take this, like, break-even tile in terms of happiness. So the fact that we converted this into a city ends up kind of, like, biting us in the ass because of what we just talked about, right? It's obviously better to leave them as towns due to our other civics and techs that we just picked up. Gonna buy out a bunch of production buildings here, though, and then we're gonna do exactly what we were talking about, like an hour ago with these, which is that we're going to have this stay as like a resource producing city. So we're just gonna go with probably rail station. Actually, no, we'll do schoolhouse first, just because the science matters. We'll build any science building. I hate how it zooms you in on that. It's like the one thing I don't like about the UI in this game. I don't mind the bouncing around. Like it does. I don't like that it randomly will zoom you in, though, and then when you try to unzoom, it's just like, hey, that's the button to switch to another city. I'm not a fan of that. But yeah, so right now we're just going to worry on that. We're going to get science over anything else. Again, we're kind of like at a deadline where we need to be conscious about what we're doing with science. Just because, obviously, again, there's a non-zero chance that I can get beaten out by anybody in the game that has better production values in different regions than me. So we, kind of have to think about that. So now we're on our way, by the way, to aerodynamics, and then we have to break the sound barrier. That's going to be all the way down here. So now we're at the point where we were talking about having to research everything on the way there. I'm going to finish mass production. The next thing we're probably going to do is electricity and work our way up that way. I could also go armor, but I don't think that's worth it just because... like, getting the electricity and whatever comes down that path is probably better. At the moment, we're not fighting anybody. We still don't have factories, by the way, so GG. None of these are happiness, actually, I don't think. But yeah, so, like... that's a debate there, but right now we're not fighting. It might bite me in the ass if, like, Ben declares war on me, but, we'll see how that goes. The other option, actually, is that we have the ability to get both of these over 4 turns. I actually think that's better because of the boost we're going to get to culture. As I've talked about, a big thing I want to try to do right now, at least, is lean into the passive or ability, whatever it's called, to progress the fact that we, that's like a way to get extra science, almost for free, in some senses. So the fact that I want to do that, it's not a terrible idea to research those, because I'm going to get the civic boost that I can then use to get a science boost out of it. So we're going to spend 4 turns doing that to inevitably get, whatever it might be as a boost to science. Here, I think we're just going to go with the 6-2. Like, the other option is the 2-5-2, both of which I think are reasonable, but I'm just going to go with the 6-2. Here, we're just going to go with the happiness. So this is one of the cities that we just picked up. So if I remember correctly, we get bonus on gold here. I actually shouldn't worry about buying out production buildings. It's not going to matter here. So, yeah, just like that, it looks like we picked up a boost there, as you can see. Up to 43. Oh, yeah, yeah, I see it. It incorporated the +3 in it there. So that's very cool. So this is an actual city that we have. We're gonna buy or not buy, we're gonna build a rail station up in the trees. Put that there. Here, actually, we're gonna buy the Royal Exchange, and then we're gonna build a schoolhouse. I almost did that the other way, but it's obviously just better to get the money building first, because, you know, we're gonna get more money over time, whereas the science isn't entirely mattering at the moment. Yeah, we're just forced here. Obviously, we're gonna take the one that gives us gold. Like, the two options I have here, right, is I can just go all in on hitting negative here and not really care, or try to salvage it. At this point, I think I'm just gonna go all in on negative. I don't care. Like, it's just gonna stay negative. There's probably never a position where it's gonna be positive again, and I just don't care. Let me see who texted me here. Alrighty, so I'm going to take a quick washroom break, and then we're gonna continue going here. I will be right back. Alright, excellent. So let's finish this up here. We get another economic point, which is kind of big. Uh, the problem is that all of these are kind of bad, uh, in the sense that, like, they don't really do anything. Because, you know, we don't have really towns at all, nor do we have imported resources. I'm going to go for this, though, because of the resource capacity going bigger. There's a chance that that ends up mattering. So I grabbed another ghost. I am trying out their new popsicle flavor. It's alright. It tastes very similar to the phase popsicle. Any ghost drinkers in the chat would know that. That at least is a very good flavor, at least in my opinion. I very much like these, like, sweet flavors. So the reason that we went with Natural History was to get Natural History 2. We're going to go Mass Production 2. All of these drop our happiness there, and obviously, like I was saying, I don't want to fuck with that. I kind of have forgot that wonders exist. We're going to build Oxford University over there. Obviously, there's happiness on that, which is why we wanted to build it there. It might be better to get the other ones, but I think it's fine, all things considered. Zanzibari. No clue where they were. Oh, because I incorporated them, it just says they've been defeated. And Hamiko is still dick riding me. They're all just dick riding me on repeat. Okay, so that's our first factory. And that goes into something we were just talking about wanting to put down factories to get the resources being able to be spread around to the cities with factories. So there's another one going down. Utica's happiness is quite literally through the roof right now. There's nothing we're going to have to worry about there. Let's pop a rail station. I'm not going to overbuild, so we'll just take the 8 instead of the 9. Our science has achieved, what is that, almost 600, which is, in my opinion, very good. This place is in unrest. Excellent. Another fucking volcano. So, like, hear me out, right? There's a chance that I see me wanting to go to war with America to pick up DC and Baltimore. I probably win. What is his resource output here? He's leagues behind me everywhere. We're 300 gold, by the way, behind Augustus, which is kind of gross. And 300 culture behind him, too. But we're 400 tech above him. The only person that's on par with me in technology right now is Hamiko. So she's probably the only person that would actually be able to compete with me in any conflict. I feel like if I went to war with Ben, for instance, I would literally gobble him up. Electricity is cheaper, so we're going to do that one first. Going to keep building all these other buildings. Again, we want to keep that city as a value city. We're at 53 happiness. I feel like that's incorrect, but it might be not. That is a huge city. And I believe I got that out of a war. Like, that was a deal or something. So we don't have any factories completed yet, so we're not going to worry about that. Like, I would love to pick up Baltimore and DC just because of their positioning. It would make our empire... And admittedly, it would really, like, fleshing out where we're at. But I just don't foresee that being entirely worth it. So that little bonus, by the way, from the Civic gave us, it looks like 10, which is not an insane amount, but it's not 0. That's essentially a science building at its core. So doing that over the course of 4 turns, we basically built a science building. And either that's good or bad here. It's probably fine, all things considered. So, you know, get another factory down. So here we're going to send the foxes down to Carthage again, if we have the spot. I believe we do. Yes, we do. And then still no factories are completed, so we can't do any of that yet. I mean, plus we get, like, the boost from them not being assigned, so maybe it's better to keep them not assigned. We'll see moving forward. So once this city becomes ours in 8 turns here, the way that we're going to have it is we're going to own basically everything on this part of the continent. Ben has 6 cities, 2 of which are right there, 2 of which are there, 1's there, and my guess is the other one might be, like, right on the coast here. No, that's, Tecumseh. So, like, the way I'm looking at it right now is there's a non-bad idea that I have, which is we go to war and maybe try to pick up DC and Baltimore. But, like, it's very fitting, by the way, for anybody who knows United States geography. I almost said geography. Because those are very close to each other, probably, realistically speaking, like this distance, so, you know, yeah. So that's something I might consider doing. We don't have tanks yet, though, and tanks would probably be a very easy win, or a really easy way to win the conflict. I'm gonna take the artifact. So we'll see. I think I just built somewhere I wasn't supposed to. Actually, no, I didn't. Never mind. So, back to what we were talking about. This is kind of like long-term investments, but we're going to buy out all of these because of the boost we're going to get from them. And I believe I have enough to buy an ironworks as well. I do. So now this city is producing us 100 gold per turn. 100 of our gold per turn is coming right from this city, which is just pretty good. I didn't realize I get another tile. We'll take that one too. So that's where we're at right now. So I think that's what my plan is moving into, well, like this stage of the game, is that we're going to finish electricity, do armor so we can buy tanks and get tanks, and then try to take over DC and whatever else we can get our hands on. Seven turns for armor. So, back that we talked about before, I'm, like, I really don't like it going so low because there's so many bad things that can happen because of it. So we're just not gonna fuck with it.
I wonder anybody.
There's Oxford being done. Electricity and radio get finished. Go with gold on Opera House. I don't think I have either, actually, but, you know. So yeah, we're going to go armor, and then after we finish armor, we're going to worry about everything else after the fact. That is a fucking radio station. Over here, that is a radio station. So now, because of like our position with happiness, it's just going to be building radio stations. I'm going to save my gold as well. At the moment, we're looking at probably being able to buy 2, maybe 3 tanks. By the time we're able to buy them, maybe even 4, and like we were just talking about, that's kind of our big plan is, you know, buying a ton of tanks and kind of just rushing the capital city as well as the one next to it. So that's where we're at. I'm not going to spend it on just buying a radio station somewhere, you know, anything of that ilk. That said, I do want to make sure Carthage gets a radio station built, though. I'm going to cancel that for now and build this plus 12 happiness tile in Carthage. We will take the artifact yet again. So some factories did get finished, but we get plus 3 gold and plus 3 happiness when they're not assigned, and I think I'm just going to keep it that way, to be honest. None of those are happiness tiles, I don't think so. Or happiness resources, rather. Here we're going to go laboratory. Here we're going to go radio station. Going to go into laboratory. So, like, here's the thing, right? Obviously, my science is really good here. We're at 620 per turn. And when some of our buildings finish, it'll only be better. But, like, I feel like if I was playing Ben, I would have had the same outcome. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know. Like, to me, it's obviously good, but it's just, like, I feel like I could be pretty close to the same position if I was playing any other Civ. And I feel like I've tried to use her ability very, to the best of my ability, at least, that I've been given, the situations that I've been given, so. I mean, I don't know. We'll have to see. In terms of science, Hamiko's actually caught up to me. She's become a very big, like, component to this game, and probably at the moment, at least, my biggest competition in terms of winning. So maybe I go to war with her instead, but, like, my options are go to war with her in a position that I really don't care about, because, like, at its core, right, whatever happens with her is not overly important. Like, we get Tokyo, I maybe get these 2 cities down here. How many does she have? She has 6. So that's 3 of them. In the same breath, though, I think getting Baltimore and DC, excuse me, to just connect the rest of my empire is better, but we'll see. Fucking river, bro. It's always the river. So we're gonna get the radio station here. The problem is that, again, it's not really gonna help. I mean, it's going to, in the sense that it's not obviously a negative for us, but it's also not overly a positive because, like, the place is just already beyond unhappy. This is going straight to Gao. Where is it? Right here. I mean, listen, right? Minus 12 is bad, but it's not insane. I do think I go to war with Hamiko here. Like, the thing is, right, again, is I can go to war with Ben. We finished armor now. I can go to war with Ben and pick up the cities that I want, or I can go to war with Hamiko and, like, actually do something to progress the fact that I don't just outright lose this game. I mean, like, they might not, neither of them might matter at the end of the day, but I think the one option is better, just due to, you know, what I've already said. So, let's head over here. That's not it. Let's head over here. No matter what, right? That was a really weird sentence. No matter what, right, we are going to be going to war with somebody, so we're just going to make, you know, our tanks and all that now. So that way they're ready. Next turn is when I'll decide where I'm actually going to point them, because they both, I think, are reasonable options at this point. Hamiko, I think, is the best of the options because of where her position is in this game. Let me look at the board next turn, because if somebody's close to her, like drastically close to her, then toppling her won't really accomplish anything, right? Like, yeah, it'll knock her out of the position, but then the other person's just going to be a problem. So if that's the case, I'm just going to do Ben. But if there's, like, nobody even relatively close to her, then it's obviously just better to do her. Because, you know, like, there's literally no benefit to not at that point. I don't have enough money. Alright, so before we turn over the age, or the turn, let's just start sending everybody towards the border there. I'm not going to do everybody, just the ones that are, like, kind of close to the edge, because, you know, I could get a war declared on me from somebody, and I'd rather not deal with it. Or rather not be behind in dealing with it if all my guys are, you know, way up yonder. I'm going to go with the radio station over in Utica. And the laboratory over here. And finally, let's just go with the smaller production tiles. Not assign those. Alright. This is really the big turn that's going to decide what we're doing with our conflict that we're about to start. Again, we have to take a minus happiness tile over here. It feels bad. Actually, we can break even. Never mind. It feels bad, though. Eventually, we're going to get to a point where we get the little government thingy policy that'll make it so we don't have to pay full price for specialists, which will, of course, make it so we turn out a positive on a lot of them. But for now, of course, it is a negative, and feels bad one at that. I mean, it really doesn't matter where this goes. I'm just going to take that one, though, I think. Over here, we'll put down a stock exchange. Okay, so let's take a gander here real quick. The nearest to Himiko is about 240. So the answer is it's Himiko. It just has to be Himiko. I feel like I've declared war on Himiko far too many times in my Civ playthroughs that I've done. It's just like the most reoccurring, it's the most reoccurring fucking thing that's happened to me, I feel like. She's just so easy to gobble up. That is not my dude. I was confused as to why I couldn't move him, and then I realized that is not my Jimmy. So, the only downside is that outside of our tanks, the rest of our military kind of is Z. It's all stuff from the start of the age that... I mean, it's not bad, obviously. Like, your line infantry, for instance, is going to be pretty good and all that. But outside of that, I don't think it's an insane, like, pickup for me. The tanks are really what's going to carry this war for us. She has, the land ships, or whatever they're called. The mini tanks. So that's kind of mad, but... I mean, we should be alright. All things considered, at least, we should be alright. I believe I can buy another tank over here. I was saying, if I can't, I'll buy a bomber. Like, it's not a terrible pickup either way. That did look like an actual tank that just went over there. So that's something to consider. Yeah, so she actually does have, like, normal tanks, too. It's not just the land ships. She has planes as well. I mean, she's on par with me in terms of her resources. So, I mean, it makes sense at the end of the day, but it's something that's going to be obviously very, very rough. Given our huge advantage over her... Yeah, we're going to pick up this land heritage, I believe. I'm also going to get rid of navigable rivers and pick up social science. That's going to give us 1 million... Yeah, as you can see, now we just picked up all the way up to almost 1,000 science, which was very big. All of these buildings can come up. So the big thing, I think, for us during this war is going to be making sure that our war support stays somewhat positive. And by somewhat positive, I mean a decent lead over her, and then just trying to smash into her with... that sounds really bad. With everything that we have that we can use for this. We'll have to see, again, how it's going to go. I'm not too expecting of this going drastically well. It definitely could, though, so that's something to keep in mind. If this goes well and we topple her economy, which is really just all this is supposed to be, is a war that puts us in kind of a bad position diplomatically, but is, at the end of the day, at its core, supposed to just be a way to limit what she's doing. We're one turn off of that boost, which is kind of sad, but it's alright. We're actually not losing as badly as I would have expected to the land ship there. Can I get open borders off of Ben? He agreed. Sweet. And yeah, now we're just going to move the tanks through Washington because, you know, we literally bought open borders just for that, or wanted to get open borders just for that. Really, Tokyo is probably all I'm going to care to get. There is this city down here, there are these cities down here to the south, but I don't really care. I don't really have enough to, like, throw at it, so I'm not going to worry about it. Our main objective is just going to be getting Tokyo, and again, hopefully that'll be enough. But I mean, if there's like cities that are just drastically like out of position or whatever, then I might consider going for them, but I don't see that as being like a major thing coming up. And what I mean by out of position is like, if we win Tokyo and this city is like right here, then if you can see where the cursor is, like right here, then we're gonna go and get that city too. I don't see that being the case just because of, you know, how people build cities in this game, but there's a chance that that's the case, and if it is, then we'll take that too, but right now we're just going to be focused on getting Tokyo. So something that I tend to do when I go to war is I do try to manage a little bit at least, or to an extent, the health of my units, but like, in the current moment, I don't think that matters. We have so many dudes up here that there's no chance, again, that we're going to be fighting an overly prolonged war. We should ideally be winning this conflict in, I mean, hopefully a couple turns here. If it goes to, again, us chasing down, like, some city across the ocean, then obviously it'll be longer, but that might not come up, and if it doesn't, then the health of, like, a courser is not going to matter, you know. So we now can bring this up to a +4. War of the Tropical, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that. Fucking volcanoes, dude. Oh my god. It's the story of my life in this game. We'll take the gold for the overbuild. Seems worth it to me. So I can buy a ton of stuff here. Of course, mainly being tanks, and that's what we're gonna buy. But let's worry about the front line first, and then I'll buy whatever I can buy after the fact. Take that out. Take that out. These guys up. I believe I can attack here. An amphibious assault. Yep, that picks up that. Excellent. Alright, let's head down over here, and now we're gonna buy another tank. Again, like, getting a bomber here might be a good idea, but honestly, the tanks are just gonna be better, and they're probably gonna have better reach. That's not what I wanted to do. Better reach than anything. Like, we're guaranteed to get value out of tanks. Bombers, it might not be able to make it, so we're not gonna be too concerned with that. I'll send these guys down that way. This tank can go here. We also for sure could have beat Ben if we went to war with him. Obviously, having like 8 tanks against his coursers would have been just insane. I do want to keep an eye out on the south here just to make sure that nothing goes wrong down there. Pick up mobilization. I feel like this war probably was a bit of a surprise. It was a formal in terms of like actual gameplay, but I don't think the AI was prepared for this. I mean, they did have dudes obviously here. There's like 3 tanks or whatever, but from an actual perspective, I'm not getting hit by probably even close to the full might of their military, which is very good. The less casualties we take now, the better. And I know that's kind of contradictory to what I was just saying, but my point is that like I'm not going to go out of my way to try to preserve dudes or keeping dudes alive rather when there's no point because getting everything is just better off or better now rather than later. Why would I go out of my way to preserve things and try to keep whatever it may be alive when like it's just drastically better to dive, get the city, and then maybe get more, and then heal up after the fact. Once everything is dealt with, all the threats are gone. And have been eliminated. That said, I'm going to heal that tank. I think that's just all right to do here. We're going to unpack these guys. I mean, it's not like they get to really go anywhere. There's kind of a clogging of units here, given how small this like region of the world is, which is kind of unlucky, but I mean it should be fine long term. It's a GUI, as we might say. Couple turns here actually, we're gonna get another war support. That's not terrible for me. There's a land ship. It looks like Ben was fucking around over here. I might have to check to see. Yeah, let's check and see what everybody's looking like in terms of conflicts. Napoleon is at war with Japan as well. And that is the only difference. Yeah, we're gonna pick up the 0.5. London's back to being in unrest. Excellent. I actually think they were already in unrest. So this district is actually very protected. Kind of mad, to be completely honest. We're going to spend a lot of time hitting it and trying to take it. We should succeed, but again, it's a lot of time we're going to be spending doing that. There is no additional Japanese city up here, by the way. I do not actually see anything, which means that this will be like a one-time war. We're going to take Tokyo. That means, honestly, after we throw everything at the wall at Tokyo, there's a non-zero chance that it might be beneficial to go to the south and try to pick those cities up, or maybe declare peace or offer peace and get one of those cities out of it, hopefully. Because, like, the fact that she has nothing else, or maybe even turn on Washington and try to get Washington, but, like, the fact that she has absolutely nothing else is just insanely good for me, because, like, there's nothing else here. There's literally Tokyo, 2 army commanders, a land ship, and like a plane in the tank, or in the airport, and that's like literally all that exists here. So we should be able to siege the city pretty handily. I could buy another tank here. That might be a very good idea if I'm going to turn on Washington, which I think I'm going to do, because going to the south just doesn't seem beneficial to me. We have enough spots too to pick up the Tokyo and then get Washington and Baltimore. So that's probably what we're going to end up doing. Just keep repairing our stuff in London. Gao's actually only at -1 now. That was kind of big. We're just going to keep building defensive fortifications, keep it, you know, somewhat low in terms of the minus that we have on it. It does indeed look like we can attack there. Excellent. So this should destroy that. Excellent. The thing that sucks is because it's such a small, like, spot here, we're not getting full value out of our entire army that's here being able to attack. It's unfortunate, but, I mean, at the end of the day, it's probably better off that that's the case than, you know, whatever the other option is. I'm just going to fortify, I guess. There's no positive or negative there. So I can't move into that. There's a squadron commander there. I'm confused. So do I have to send a plane there?
Just in case that's the case, we're gonna buy a bomber here. Because I'm not just gonna waste time at that city. I'm there for a very specific reason, and, you know. One other thing, I kind of forgot to do this. We can pick up our 5 now, I believe. Yes, the War of the Tropical ever turns into our favor, even though it's pretty much in our favor and will likely remain in our favor. The way that it goes poorly is if I get war declared on me from Ben Augustus and like Ashoka here, and I have to fight like a 17 front war. That would be bad, but it does not appear that it's going to happen. There's aerodynamics finally, so now, you know, 1.5 million turns later, we're approaching the next step for our victory condition. Thousand science per turn, by the way. We have acquired that. So, they have a tank now. Excellent. I believe that was... Oh, they have 2 tanks now. Where is the bomber? Okay, it's right here. Not sure what happened right there. I think the bomber flying achieved or unlocked a new tile that was there, so I didn't see it before or something. I'm still not too sure exactly why I can't move into the airport that's there. Kind of confusing, but it's okay. Turn all these guys over. I should probably just put them to sleep for now, actually, because they're really not going to be doing anything for quite some time. So there's no point. I should have used the bomber there, by the way. I think I hit Tokyo instead, which, I mean, it's not bad, but it's not progressing me in a way that I would like, so, you know. Because, like, this can't go here, I don't think, right? Yeah, no, it can't, so we're just going to hit Tokyo instead. So the defenses are about to fall on the city. They still have a tank that's there, but, I mean, it's not going to matter. Another volcanic eruption, sweet. It's just never ending, dude. Alright, so they're no longer in unrest, which is cool. I'll pick up the volcano. What could go wrong? Museum. The museum lets us display our artifacts too, so that's a cool plus. A nice little bonus, if you will. So that should be the last hit to take out the district defense. Let's head down here. So let's see if I can hit this tile here. And if it does anything more so, because I'm not sure, again, why I can't do anything with that. I mean, it took them at airport there because, you know, there's obviously something transpiring that's not allowing me to take it, and I'm going to have to figure out what the problem is as to why I can't take it, so. Nationalism and globalism both have things to study there, or masteries. Obviously, I should have taken the 8 there, by the way. I just really wasn't paying attention. It's kind of like the Machiavelli playthrough where, like, admittedly, there's just a point where, like, it's almost guaranteed, right, that I'm going to win this game. Or at least, if I don't, it's going to be, like, some random, like, thing out of nowhere, right, that I lose to. So, at the end of the day, like, me focusing 1,000,000% on, like, min-maxing, while it's correct, it just, in my opinion, it just really doesn't matter. Okay, so we did take Tokyo, and I still do not have the city. So I'm probably going to have to figure out what's up here, because I can't move guys into there. Can I propose peace and just take Tokyo? Not the outcome I wanted. I can't propose peace, yes. Yeah. Not the outcome I wanted, but likely what's going to happen here if I can't figure out how to take over this airport, or aerodome. I mean, it lost health there. I watched it go down, so I mean, that might just be the case. Can I buy a second bomber here? I think I can, actually. I don't know if I did or not. We'll only have to find out, or only time will tell, rather. That said, I think the time to go to war with Ben now has arose. As my war with Himiko definitely is coming to a close here, it's better now to just start with Ben. They have a bit of an advantage in terms of war support, and at the moment military, but in the long term, we're just going to dominate, I think. If anybody comes down from over there, we'll have to buy tanks in that spot, but at the moment, it doesn't look like it's going to be a problem. So we're going to give up the tiles that don't matter towards, like, control here. Alright. That was kind of expected, to be honest. So, before we continue with anything else, let's buy a tank over here. I could also buy a bomber, actually. Both seem reasonable. I don't know if I'm allowed to buy two, though. I don't think I was. I should have picked up the 3 production, by the way. It's just fine. Over here, instead of producing anything else, we're going to go with a bomber. It's going to take 2 turns for that. Here, we're going to produce a bomber, and then, as one might see, we have some damage there, so we are going to buy a good old tank. As she did, in fact, attack from the south. So I don't know if this is both my bombers that are about to go out or not. I think it's only one, so that's something to just keep in mind, I suppose. Wait, that might have been both. I think that... no, I think that was just one. Yeah, because I still can't take over the tile. So now we're at war with 3 people. We need to keep an eye on where Napoleon is. That, you know, is something that could come up and be a problem eventually. With the 8-1 factory. So something to think about, too, is that because of our current position in the game, there's a non-zero chance that we're never going to be out of war with somebody like Napoleon. Or Ben, for that matter. So we kind of just have to be prepared, I think, to fight for the rest of the game with them. Which is like, it's whatever, to be honest. I just foresee it being like that, simply because... Again, I don't know if we're winning necessarily, but we're going to be at some point here, and that's probably going to draw a lot of not happiness from the other people here. So, again, just expecting that we're going to have to fight for the rest of this game with them is a good way to look at it. As rough or as not entirely accurate as that might be, it's the best way that I think I can look at what's going to happen throughout the course of the rest of this game. So ideally, next turn, everything finishes and I get a hold of Tokyo. If I'm understanding how that's going to work, at least. The way that the one tile there is not, like, flipping to my side. No. I'm sorry. She actually won't offer Tokyo. So, where I'm at is that I just want to take Tokyo. And because the current position of everything, minus 40. I'm guessing that's both hitting. Okay, so yeah, that was what we needed to do. Sweet. So now we have Tokyo. Because of the plan to take over Baltimore and all that, I will propose peace, and I'm not going to ask for any other cities. I was initially going to try to get one at the bottom there, but because of that, like, I'm not gonna bother, because this is, well, I guess now our cap just went up, so maybe it was better to try to get one, but, you know, at the end of the day, it just doesn't matter. Okay, so still nothing over there. Napoleon has had no impact on anything by the looks of it. One more turn, by the way, until aerodynamics is done. I was just checking, or rather I just noticed that while I was looking at something else. What am I trying to do here? I'm going to buy a second tank just to make sure we fully deal with everything going on over here. Gao, for once in this game, by the way, I just want to point out, we just hit 15 happiness. Or positive 15, which is really big. That's the first time I think that's happened so far. Send that right to the capital. 150 almost production there is very cool. So we'll rest. And we're going to send the rest of the dudes that aren't resting right at Washington. Like we talked about, we kind of just want to smash into it on repeat until we get it. We took that district, which is cool. Looking at Baltimore, too, is something that's not like a terrible option. It doesn't look at all defended. They have a Marine there, but it doesn't look really at all defended. So, you know, hitting that is not a terrible idea, I don't think. We're going to buy another tank to go over to Baltimore because, you know, if we can get Baltimore while we're still fighting for Washington, then we're just going to guaranteed get both, probably. We don't have to worry about conflict with Himiko. At the moment, Napoleon is probably the only thing that we have to be concerned with. So we just have to keep an eye out. He's on this continent right here. So keeping the fucking river, dude. Oh, we're going to go with rocketry, by the way, because that's our last tech that we need to, you know, finish the objective. So that's what we're going to worry about. Where's London? I'm just going to queue up, break the sound barrier so I don't have to worry about it. And we want it there as our spot that we're going to be having it. So, you know. That's just better, in my opinion, to queue it up now. And like I said, it saves a little bit of time later on. Start hitting Washington. Yeah, there's like nothing defending Baltimore. We will probably take that in 2 turns here. We'll just turn that over. And then for whatever sake, I'm just going to put that dude to sleep in Tokyo until we need it. Which, I mean, we might not ever need it, so, I mean, you know, there's that. I didn't even see these guys right here. Is there, like, a fucking mountain here? I'm not understanding. There might be, because the ground does look a little different. I'm gonna put these guys to sleep. I'm not sure what's going on there. Send that guy up there. Put this guy to sleep. Next turn, it looks like we're going to have this bomber done. I thought it was only taking 1 turn, but it appears to have taken more. We're going to go with the science there. The culture might have been better, given the fact that, like, we're already basically done with science, but I think it just doesn't matter. 80 happiness, I believe, in that city, by the way. That is pretty nuts. Yeah, we'll just take the 7 up here. Aerodome. Carthage is actually, like, maintaining happiness. It's very cool to see. Of course, as I talked about before, it has not been happy for most of this game, so actually being happy is cool to see. So I'm going to kill the coursers that I have there. The reason is that... it didn't die, but the reason is that it opens up room, like it does a little bit of damage and it opens up room for more things, whether that be a tank or whatever, to get there. So having that happen while being like bad in the sense that we're losing a dude for like 10 damage, it's better in my opinion because, you know, we're just gonna have a bunch of open area now. This should be Baltimore, I believe. It was. Excellent. That's not the button. We will be keeping Baltimore. Yes. Turn this over. Again, like, the same idea of what I was just talking about kind of applies to the way I think about dealing with, like, this courser here. Having a couple guys, like, fight and die to it opens up space for more people to get there. I should have used this bomber. So that's, like, not terrible. In the way that I view, like, the value that I would get from doing that. We're just going to talk about how the Marine just clipped through the map right there. I'm going to guess not, but that is something that just transpired. So let's hit the capital city. Excellent. So that means we get Washington this turn, I believe. Yep. Excellent. I would like to keep Washington. I should have gone for one of the specialist tiles. Again, it's just like, it kind of doesn't matter, so the optimization is just not even in my brain right now. I mean, I guess it could matter, but the optimization is just not there. I cannot propose peace just yet, so I'm going to pick up +1. I know it's after the fact, but we're still kind of fighting over there, so making sure that everything gets maintained and, you know, I don't just randomly lose some dudes or something is not a terrible idea. Let's put these guys to sleep. Hit that courser. Hit everything they have over here. So as you can see, we have 6 turns on Break the Sound Barrier. So after that, it's going to be Satellite, I believe. Rocketry will be done by then, so we'll be able to just build the launch pad right away. This was something I was concerned about happening, like, way earlier. So it happening now is not actually, like, terrible for me. I don't even see him having any impact, question mark, on anything, because I just don't, I just don't understand. I don't quite understand the purpose of that. Like, I get it in the sense that, like, he might have just gotten in an alliance or something with somebody that I'm at war with, whether that's Ben or maybe, maybe Napoleon, but, like, I don't really think that that's gonna go in any shape or form in his favor, so I just realized there's a city up here. Fucking rodents, bro. So my options are, I could, like, try to take the city up here. I actually think that's valuable because there's no reason not to, and it's one of those cities that, I mean, he doesn't have walls on it, so it's probably going to be free. And pretty soon the war is going to be over with Ben, so it's like, do I want to sit around and do almost nothing down here, or actually try to propel myself forward in a way that will potentially have a larger impact? The answer is obviously I want to propel myself forward in a way that has a larger impact. So taking a city from him for free is... I mean, it's not insanely good, I guess. Just off of the metric that he's got 15 or 16 or whatever it was. So limiting one off of him isn't really going to have an insanely high, like, you know, impact on anything, but it's not nothing, so... Alright, let's see if we can end this war with America, hopefully this turn. Oh, there's some Jimmies over there. We have 500 billion gold, so let's go. purchase a bomber, I guess. So this should take this city. The problem is we're probably going to lose it if I'm guessing. I mean, it did take the city, but we're going to go with the culture boost here. That should give us a ton of happiness if I understand correctly. We'll just go with that. So for production here, I clicked it again. We're going to go with a tank or something. The reason is that, actually I'll go destroyer. The reason is that, like, while I don't think I'm going to lose this city at all, I just don't think that they have the capabilities of taking it. It's still better to just play safe and, you know, try to make sure we maintain it than just throwing everything away by letting them get something that they really shouldn't have. So we can't propose peace just yet. Unlucky, but it's the way it is. Can I do that with Napoleon? The answer is also no. Sweet. Alright. So we're going to remain in this war for a little bit longer by the looks of it, unfortunately. I would like to not, but obviously I don't get a choice in the matter. This should blow this fucking ship at the line immediately, right? Am I out of reach? Like, what's going on here? Oh, there we go. This should totally just insta-kill it, if I'm guessing correctly. Okay, maybe not. I mean, basically. Yeah, it basically did. Alright, we take those. Go to sleep. This guy can just get promoted, and then he's gonna chill there. This tank, like, it doesn't really matter. I'm just gonna put it to sleep and have it fortify. I'm gonna have these guys fortify. There's Napoleon, finally arriving. 6 years late to the war. This should blow this thing up, if I'm not mistaken. And maybe not. Almost, but not quite. That was a pretty easy gold decision. We're almost at 2k per turn. We are just absolutely pumping right now. Again, the only downside is, like, I don't know if this is an Ada Lovelace or British thing, because it feels like if I was playing anybody else, to an extent at least, I would already have, like, this type of impact anyway. Or rather, I would have this type of impact anyway. So it's like, while it very well could be either of those, I feel like it's something that might just be happening no matter what, again, if I'm playing any other Civ. So we'll have to see as I progress through, you know, like, actually playing, because there's a chance that, like, it's not something that's going to happen on every Civ. I could play Hamiko and just be getting completely rolled in this type of position, so it's like, again, we'll have to see. Over here, I mean, we are kind of getting beat up. So let's go with a destroyer bot. Excellent. The Great British Navy. Where the fuck is the special unit? I thought it was a special destroyer. Can I make peace with Ben now? No, still. Sweet. Yeah, all these tanks are just gonna go to sleep. I just don't really need them, I don't think, for anything. Watch me need them and just, like, completely regret that choice, but I don't foresee it happening. So break the sound barrier is going to pop next turn. Very good, because, of course, rocketry is going to finish up then, too. I'll probably just buy the rocket pad, and then, you know, launch and all that right after. We're going to research the boost there. It's not going to matter the science we're going to get from it, because we're basically done. But it'll give us enough to basically go over the line and start future tech or whatever it is, you know, going, so that's something. It appears we have a fight here going on. There's revenge, by the way. I was a little bit off in terms of where I figured I would find it. It's slightly better than a normal destroyer, worse than a submarine. I like it. That's about what I want to see out of my unique unit. The Big Hippo. Even though I don't believe that's how it's pronounced. We're going to put the tank there just so Augustus gets bumped on it. That seems, like, correct for me. Or to me, rather. And then I'm going to buy a thingy here. Yeah, Revenge. There we go. Try out the unit. It looks like a battleship. I'm pretty sure it is a unique battleship, actually. It's what it looks like. Okay, so Augustus is actually sending a bit of a military presence over here. Me not using the thingy here when I should have was probably not the best choice. So we have a million pop-ups over here. Put these guys in here. What are the chances that that goes badly for me, actually, and I lose the city? I mean, I guess it's not impossible. Franklin will accept this. Excellent. Can I try to get a second city? It looks like I was indeed able to.
A capital proposal. Let's make it.
A capital proposal. Alright, sweet. So that's one less person to have to fucking deal with. Can I propose peace with Napoleon? It looks like the option is yes. He will reject peace. Okay, well. I mean, it was worth checking out. Espionage detected. There's so many fucking pop-ups. Augustus. Okay. Dismiss all. We'll pick up the little boosts there. That's just fine, in my opinion. Break the Sound Barrier has one more turn. So, next turn, I'll get to deal with that. I'm going to buy the launch pad right now, though. Just so it's there, because the literal next thing we're queuing is launching the satellite, so I'm just going to get that ready now. "51% on turnover" means that we likely are leading. I think. I feel like our turnover would be higher than that, just given how, like, you know, we're actually impacting things. But at the same time, like, my point is that I don't think there's somebody that would have more than us at 51%, given how we probably are the ones leading, and, you know what I mean, we're like 3 things away from winning the game, I think, and it just makes sense to me that nobody else would be close to that. We did pick up an expansionist point, very cool. I'm just going to go with the population in town. I don't think I've ever grown that far on expansionist, to be completely honest with you. I usually don't get those points too often. Tokyo is still just gaming over there. I like it. So this is one of the cities that we got. I believe this was the one in the peace deal. It actually kind of touches, so that's cool. It's not just some random out of nowhere building. Might as well. So one thing... Actually, no, we already used the plane. Let's say, so one thing I want to do is use the plane before we turn the age over, but we already used them, so no point. Gonna put these guys here. Gonna move that there. I mean, we're no longer... Oh, no, that's why I couldn't attack him, stupid, because we're not at war with Ben anymore. So yeah, we're just gonna chill there. Big Napoleon makes his grand comeback. I like it. He's just gonna get stomped out. He has cities up and down this coast, actually, because he has one up there, too. He has 17. So now we're on Launch Satellite Project, which of course is at 7 turns left on it.
Here we're just gonna go with the launch pad. A modern bridge giving me 25 gold per turn. I take those. I'm just gonna try to see if Napoleon will stop. I doubt it happening here, but it's something that could happen. He will reject. Alright. I am gonna bolster the conflict, or my support rather, with Augustus here. What is the... I kind of forgot how much I needed for the boost. See, that's why I'm confused, because now it's a different number. I wonder if it's, like, some bug in the coding in terms of displaying... Well, it's the same number now. But I wonder if it's some bug in the coding in terms of, like, displaying how much you actually need. Or something of that ilk. Because, like, to me, that's just... I wanted to see if I could end the war. Because to me, it's just peculiar. Like, the only thing that makes sense is that I'm at, like, close to... Oh, I can't propose peace yet. That I'm close to 450. So 415 is, I guess, close to 450. But, like, that kind of isn't the case, I don't think. I don't know. I'm not going to think too much about it either. It's just really weird to me. We'll hit this. So there's a chance they retake the city, actually. With the ship over here. And we'll just get it back, but, like, it's something that could happen. Nice. Looks like they did not go for it. Five turns until the satellite gets launched. We'll just go with globalism. A 31 modern bridge. We take that. Beon. I'm going to check in a couple turns here and see what the number has devolved to. I'm kind of intrigued, to be honest with you, to see what it turns into. Let's head over here, actually, and buy out another thingy. I think Revenge is the best ship I can have right now. Well, I guess Submarine is, so we'll buy a sub. This guy can go to sleep. I should have just fucking upgraded him, but whatever. So the reason I'm going through these motions here is that it's just, I think, good practice to make sure that while, like, it doesn't matter what I'm building, right? Because me building, like, a +7 instead of a +8 isn't going to affect the gameplay, or the outcome of this game. Me letting a city potentially fall could affect the outcome of the game. So that's, like, the difference for me, is that one has no impact, or largely no impact, the other is definitely something that could come up. You go to sleep. You start healing. We're gonna start healing that too. We're gonna have that tank eat up everybody over there. Let's launch a bombing mission, I guess, just here. Hit that. That should, like, probably be enough to get him to do a piece when it comes to that. See, now it's 615. I don't know. It's just a really weird thing to have there for me. Or in my opinion. Because it doesn't look like normal. And I definitely haven't seen it there before. At least I don't think so. I haven't noticed it if it's been there before. That's a 37
gold tile, by the way. I believe one of my ships just got blown up, GG. It's okay, one of theirs got blown up too. So yeah, so now we're just gonna fight these guys on land here. Like, they have a city there, and it just doesn't matter. Excellent. Nobody is happy with me, by the way. The only one who's not, like, outright unhappy, we have 3 turns until Satellite goes up, is Tecumseh, so that's just a small note. So, so we have first crewed spaceflight, so we'll have to do that afterwards, and then after that, that should be it. And we should win off of that. Do I have any wonders I can build? I have not tried to even really pay attention to the Eiffel Tower. Sweet. I have not, like, really paid attention to that for a while. I don't want to overbuild the Wall of China that's there. Or Quinn, or whatever it is. Like, it's small, but it's kind of cool. It's always the fucking volcanoes, remember that? Yeah, we'll just take the 11. I have 14,000 gold. Like, it just doesn't, again, it just doesn't matter, right? Like, I could buy out some of these buildings or do whatever, but, like, it largely isn't gonna matter, so it's just like, why do I even fucking care? You know what I mean? I will buy these. I guess I can't. I'm not sure what the issue is there. Oh, I see. Okay. Like, I'll buy those because, like, why not? You know what I mean? But, like, from a larger perspective, it just really doesn't matter. So, before we do this, I'm gonna... I don't know if I ever upgraded my war support. I did not. Okay. Or I did, sorry. So, before I do that, I want to see that, and the other thing I want to see is if I can propose peace, which I can. He will reject this deal. Okay. That's fine. The Great Royal Navy that is not even remotely close. I just realized that's a unique looking land ship. I have not noticed those before. Usually they look like conventional tanks, just not like cool looking tanks. So that might be like a Prussian special looking land ship or something. I don't know if they have a unique unit. I don't think I've ever played as Prussia, but it's something that's different. I'm just kind of disappointed with the look of some of these guys. I'm really disappointed that England didn't get redcoats as a unique unit. Like I said, like their line infantry or whatever look like redcoats. Like they literally have the redcoats on, but which makes sense, but it should have just been a special. I don't even know if the boat or something is unique or not, like actually in terms of English lore or whatever. It's just disappointing. That part's disappointing. Roma. Like, it might be worth it to take Roma to, like, even though it puts us over our settlement limit, to just kind of hinder them. I mean, that's their capital city. It's not as good as in Civ 6, though, when, you know, you would obviously need capitals to win the game. Not actually sure what the military... Oh, the satellite got finished. I was like, what the actual fuck just happened to this game? Yeah, it's just a bunch of stuff in that regard. Alright, we'll go culture here. No reason not to. This is gonna give me like 1,000,000 happiness, I believe, on the culture, or on the capital. Or rather, the palace. I don't know why I can't talk. So now, we should have crewed spaceflight. What did I just do over here? That's gonna be no. No, 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 no. That's much better. So I'm not sure if that's the one that wins us the game. I don't remember if there's one, like, after that. So we'll just start that and then see how things go. I'm pretty sure there's one more, so we don't just win when that completes, but there might not be. Either way, it's cool. Because, you know, obviously we're closer now to winning. If it's not the end off of that, then, like, we'll have to look into what else there is. But, you know, I'm not going to worry about that right now. It's 14 turns, I believe. Yeah, 14. Look at this fucking city there, dude. My god. These islands got gobbled up. Napoleon actually kind of has a large empire here. He took some cities too, I believe, from Tecumseh, because Prophet's Town, I'm pretty sure, is something he settles in his exploration age. And I'm pretty sure they did at one point have a war. It's just kind of cool to look at and see what the map looked like, because, you know, I obviously didn't play that side of the world really the whole game, or really see anything on that side of the world, so, you know. It is close, I guess, but 2 crashes in that time period, or I guess this would be the 3rd. Okay, so it crashed just as he declared war on me. Alright, sweet. So that's not that bad. Yeah, do you see what I mean? Look at how the number went down. Like, that's what I don't understand about it. So, I just caught it there, obviously. It started on, like, 400 or something. And then it, One second, let me just make a note to cut that, crash out. So it started on, like, 450 or whatever, and then got all the way down to whatever it is now. Like, that's what I don't understand. It's got to be something to do with how much the cost is, and, like, it's just bugging out in terms of what it's displaying or something. I don't know exactly, but that's got to be my guess about it, because it's just really weird. Okay, we can't strike that, unfortunately. And mind you, we're not going to get that city. Like, we're not even hitting it to try to. It's just the fact that it's extra pressure. Why did he declare war on me, by the way? What am I missing over here? That might have just been one of those, you're at war with a ton of people that either I'm allied with, or maybe you're winning the game, so I want to go to war with you, but very strange. Will you accept peace finally? No, okay. Again, I mean, I am winning the game, right? Again, if I'm understanding correctly, at least I'm winning the game. We've got 13 turns until I win the game, if I understand that that's the win condition. So it makes sense that they would want to go to war with me, but they're going to have to stop that from popping, the first manned spaceflight or whatever. And, like, it's just not going to happen. London probably will not fall. Ashoka might go to war with me, actually. He's got some jimmies here. Yeah, like I was saying, I've never had, like, egregious amounts of crashing. I did not read what that was. I probably should have read it, because it might have been slightly important. They just want me to gobble up their fucking mini tanks. This city falls by the looks of it. And maybe not, actually. Oh, never mind, it did. Awesome possum. I'm just gonna raise it. I don't even want to keep it, and it's just not even something I care about. I guess I just realized my limit just went up, so maybe it was a waste to raise it, but, like, I just don't care. I just don't. Also, if they go out of their way to blow this city up or something, that's fine, because, again, the only one that matters right now is London. 12 turns. The one thing I will say is the frame rate is definitely kind of bad. Next time I do a playthrough, I might do it maybe smaller map or something. This, I think, was standard, was the size, but I might do the one below that. I mean, this is the first time that the frame rate... Well, the frame rate was bad, I think, towards the end of the Machiavelli playthrough. I don't think it was bad enough to, like, get a crash, so that's something to just keep in mind. Ooh, excuse me. They have some tanks arriving from the sea, I like it. Sure. Okay, so it was like some issue with the stock market or something, based on that little pop-up that I had. We're just going to keep hitting Roma. If I take over Roma, too, I'll just raise it as well. Remember, we're not trying to keep cities right now. Our basic objective is just to... I mean, I don't want to be in this war, but our basic objective now that we're in the war is just to knock out whatever I can from him.
The tower can live on its...
There's the Eiffel Tower finally finishing. We'll go with the civic boost because the science boost doesn't really matter. I mean, I talked about how, you know, the boost, or sorry, completing future tech is cool because I probably win the game, but like it just doesn't matter. And plus, like the manned space mission or whatever is going off in 9 turns, so it's just like none of that matters. Finally put down a factory. The way I lose is that somebody, like, surprise wins out of nowhere here. But I don't even think that there's really anything anybody has that could do that anyway. So, you know, I don't foresee that as being a problem. We're going to send the tank and the other tank over here because in order to raise Roma, we're going to have to take a couple districts that I believe are currently inland where we wouldn't be able to hit them with our ships. Well, we could probably hit them with our ships, but we wouldn't be able to actually take over the district, so that's something to just keep in mind. There appears to be a ton of Jimmies up there, so, like, that might be the end of the conflict, is that little part up here. Bunch of gold that we don't need, sweet. And again, the only city at this point that actually matters is London, because that's the one with the project going on. So them attacking and taking over one of my cities on like some random continent or whatever ends up happening, like it's not going to largely matter unless specifically London is the one that's being attacked. Which is why I'm only going to focus on protecting and making sure that London is not the city that gets taken. Or it gets attacked, and you know, it's the only one I'm going to drastically try to defend. Yeah, I believe there's 2 more districts that I have to take over here. They might also have like an airport or something. I will accept that. That's fine by me. I've been trying to get that for a bunch of turns now, so actually getting it is completely fine by me. You can go to sleep. You can also go to sleep. You can also go to sleep. You can also go to sleep. You can go to sleep. You can go to sleep. Sweet. Alright, back our tank up and just put him to sleep as well. So now we're only at war with Frederic and Napoleon. Oh, Frederic's got elephants coming in. Sweet. The Chang Buin. I don't know if that was how it was pronounced, but it is now. 7 turns. So yeah, so as this comes to a close, this this game, I thought that Ada Lovelace was honestly pretty good. I feel like I realized that though when I just looked at her. Britain, I think, was pretty decent too in terms of constructing districts and money. I believe that this is my first playthrough on a difficulty. Well, on stream, I've done deity and all that, but this is like my first playthrough where I've had 40,000 gold just sitting there, and I mean, you could again say, and I will have to see largely over the course of more playthroughs that I do, if it's something that I can just do on, you know, medium to whatever may be difficulty, but like, even on the Machiavelli playthrough, granted I kind of fucked up the first age because I didn't know what I was doing, so it's like you could argue that that was part of it, but even then I didn't reach any form of, you know, resource numbers coming in that I did here. I have 2,400 gold per turn coming in. So that might either be just an Ada Lovelace or a Britain thing. We'll have to see that throughout the course of kind of other playthroughs that I do. But overall, I thought she was pretty good. I didn't see the Bermuda Triangle, kind of disappointing. I don't think it exists on this map, which is fine. It's just sad that we didn't get to see it, but at least we had Mount Fuji, which is kind of cool. Just the railroad track going over it, that's funny as fuck. I'm going to leave those as towns. I should have bought some buildings here, actually. I'm going to leave those as towns, though, just because we get the little gold boost. I will accept this. So he declared war on me to immediately leave the war with me. I mean, yeah, that's about right. That actually was a terrible pickup in hindsight. I did it because I kind of forgot that I had incorporated quite a few city-states. So, like, I mean, obviously it's not a terrible thing. I'm not going to lose because of that decision, but like, it definitely, like, didn't really have an impact that it would matter to. Buy some of those. We will put that in the capital for that little boost. This guy can go to sleep. So yeah, so it looks like we've got 4 turns until the game ends, and, you know, overall, I think the DLC was cool. I bought the Founders, so I mean, I don't really know how much it would cost. I think if you're paying, like, retail, like $5 is probably fine. Of course, it's a civ that you get or 2 civs that you get a ton of combinations you can do with, and then you get a leader that, of course, also combines with a bunch of civs. So, I mean, it's not a terrible price if it's that much. The problem is that if it's like $10, I don't know if I support it at that price. It is a little bit egregious. I mean, if it's $10 for part 1 and 2, like Ada Lovelace and Simone Bolivar, and then, you know, the other civs that come out with it, Bulgaria, Nepal, Great Britain, and Carthage. If that's the case, then that's probably fine. So essentially it would be $5 a piece for each DLC, but it's just combined as one for 10. That's all right, I think. But again, if it's 10 a piece for each of the little parts, that's probably pretty bad. I mean, I enjoy it, like Civ, and, you know, even when it goes beyond the DLCs included with the Founders, I'm going to probably purchase them, even if they don't add achievements, because, you know, I enjoy playing the game. And as I've talked about, I want to do playthroughs of this game for the channel and all that, with each of the leaders, but from a perspective of, like, value for the consumer, that's definitely not the best, but, you know, we'll see. So yeah, I believe we're going to have one more turn here. I could be wrong, though. There might be another project after this. So we're just going to put those guys to sleep and turn over. I think this is the end, but we're going to see. This was indeed the end. Sweet. So yeah, Ada Lovelace was a ton of fun. I actually really enjoyed her. Level 3, awesome. 2 levels from 1 playthrough, we take those. But yeah, I don't really have much to say about it because, you know, we won. Obviously, we're going to have to see if this whole 2,600 gold per turn and all of that is something I can do with other civs because, you know, granted, this was on medium, but, you know, you could argue that I should have had it on whatever, but, you know, that's besides the point. Next playthrough, we'll bump the difficulty up. So yeah, we're going to see. I'm going to figure out if I want to do a playthrough during the week, another one, on somebody like, you know, again, Franklin or whoever it may be. Or if I don't end up doing that, then, you know, we'll wait for Simone Bolivar, who comes out in 8 days here. But yeah, I don't really have much more to say about it beyond thanks for watching. If you watched the entire playthrough that I did, bless your heart. And if you didn't, that's alright. I mean, you know, and if you got this far in watching, in this video, I really appreciate it, obviously. But yeah, I'll see everybody either tomorrow or the next day or whatever with another leader, or once Simon Bolivar comes out. But until then, everybody, I'll see you later. Bye.